Perfect. So I asked you a couple of weeks ago what you would like me to discuss on this insight, because there's quite a bit that we can cover when it comes to digital, especially with our side, with our business as well, because we don't just do the website side of things. We do digital problem solving, business development, client journey, user experience, all that sort of stuff to enable you to produce or have a website, if it's your own or we've built it, that actually performs for you and gets your client interaction. Because a lot of companies will actually build a website and just have it there as a point of reference for clients and just throw it all at them. So it doesn't matter which client lands on your website, what they're looking for, or anything like that, that you actually throw all of the information at them and don't really think about that client journey. So we're not really going to go into the client journey too much in this. We're just going to give you some tips and tricks of what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to a website. It's pretty straightforward stuff, but at least it sort of resonates with you guys. And then if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them. So we'll start with the negative things first. If you are in control of your own website, or if you have built your own website, I think Pritesh has had his done and he wanted me to do a little review, so I'll do that with him after. I'll have a little look at that over this week. And it's fine if anybody wants to send me something. As Susie said, I will always give some advice and some tips on how to make it better. So not prioritizing accessibility is probably one of the top ones at the moment. You've got to think about screen size, amount of content per section, content versus imagery. If somebody's using a screen reader because of poor sight, so the content has to be clear enough for it to read, all these sorts of stuff. The coloring of the site as well, depending on people who can suffer from black on white and white on black and things like that. There's some best practices around that as well. Forgetting the importance of responsive design. Again, you will have seen this on websites on your mobile phone is easily the best way to say it. And you'll go on and the picture won't fit in the square, or the the text is overlapping the picture in the wrong way, and it just doesn't look very nice, because what's happened is it's condensed from a desktop size screen where they've built the site, and then it drops to a mobile, and they haven't thought about that. We build sites mobile first, really. Generally, that's the good practice at the moment. Compromising user experience for aesthetics. I love this one. Everybody thinks, oh, it's got to look amazing. It's got, yeah, fair enough. You've got to get an impact in the first couple of seconds to get them to stay on the screen, but what it says will do that more than how it looks. Not investing in customization. So copywriting, Gina, decent copywriter, decent graphic design, decent imagery. Not just using stock images. We really don't like using stock images. In fact, a lot of our sites will actually go on site and do photography. Across the UK, I've been to Norwich, we've been to the Cotswolds, we've got clients in the Northeast. So we will actually go on site to ensure we get really good photography, customization, so that it suits the business and makes it feel like them. You're not just sticking stock images on. Using features that don't convert. So many people have online chat or a chat bot in the bottom corner. The amount of people that I speak to says, we don't really get anything from that. It's like, why have it? Why have it as a feature on your site if it's not going to do anything? Why don't you watch what your clients are doing and emphasize that journey? Having a lack of hierarchy. So that's basically an understanding on the back of the website, so that the journey that the client takes, so it takes them, realistically what you want to do is give them tidbits of information at high level. Then you want to delve them into the journey a bit further with a bit more content and a bit more information. And then if they really want to delve deep, that's where the bulk of the content and information is, because people don't want to receive it all at the top level straight away. And then having unclear navigation. So people who have potentially the nav bar across the top and then another navigation bar seen underneath with suggestions of things to do. And it's like, right, well, it's like walking to a shop front with like every department with its door in front of you. And you're just like, well, where do I go? So that's the best way to sort of sum it up. What you need is a nice, clear, concise client journey and easy to use navigation. So what do? You make the mobile site mobile responsive, and that is different. I mean, a lot of this, we specialize in Squarespace and Shopify. They are all in one unit. They're walled as they are. They're secure. It means that, yes, you pay probably slightly more on the hosting fee than you would if you're using WordPress, for example, but you don't get the plugin problems. You don't get anything that really sort of can bite you in the backside, like the domain name type thing, and like maybe the license of a plugin breaking. So it needs to be mobile responsive, and Squarespace does that. It does all the user testing, all the device testing for you, and it makes sure that you've got no problem there. Make it easy to find, so decent SEO. Make the call to action easy to find as well, so that actually when they're on the site, they know exactly what you're trying to do for them. Place your contact information above the fold. So the first thing you want them to do is above the first scroll of the screen. So it could be like, find out more, give us a call. Depending on the urgency of what you're trying to achieve, that one's a bit more of a specialist. If you're wanting basically, look, give us a call, you put a button at the top and say, give us a call, because that's what, if it's an emergency style of business, that's what you want them to do. If they need to do a bit more digging, a bit more information, that bit isn't so, number 4 isn't so prevalent. Keep your pages uncluttered, definitely. Less is more, depending on the level of information you're trying to put across. So to start with, you want uncluttered pages, you want it nice and clean, easy to read, easy to navigate, scroll through, all that sort of stuff. And then as it gets further down into the website, you'll probably find that you will get a bit more heavier content. Make sure your data and details and content is accurate. This is massive. Regular updating of your website, using Gina for copywriting for blogs and things like that, you know, that sort of stuff is paramount. And it's up to date. Any broken links, any links to an old site, anything like that is really detrimental to your website's performance. Respect the need for speed. This is basically saying that your site needs to load quickly. Now, as I said, we use Squarespace. They use like hyper image resolution. So as soon as you put an image in, it will resize it and make sure that it does not impact the load speed. And obviously we sign up to the Search Console with every site we do. So actually it tells us our issues if we have any. Also, always have a call to action, whether or not that's taking them to another part of the site, whether it's taking them to a blog, whether it's taking, if you've flown your, if you've done your client journey correctly and the flow is correct, the call to action will naturally appear at the end of the information that you're trying to give them. So, quick SEO pointers. Use keywords in the right place, because header tags in the main image bit, get Google reading the right bits at the right time. It keeps users on your site longer. Always look for suggested keywords through Google search trends. Delete any pages that are rogue and zombie. Thank you. Delete any pages that are rogue or zombie, non-used, irrelevant information. Don't keep them there. Just delete it. There's no point having it in the background if it's not going to do anything, because Google will search it. Do industry studies based on your industry, because whatever's popular at the time will work with your SEO. So if there's some hot topics, like Peter talked about, the fact that there's insolvency is bigger than it's ever been, get loads of information on there about that, because it's obviously a hot topic that's being searched for. Add related keywords to your content as well. So anything that's associated, like solvency, insolvency, all of the other sort of related keywords, get them on there as well. And make sure you add text to infographics, podcasts, and videos. So anything that you have that is moving and says something, make sure there are like words underneath, because people will watch it in silent at work, they'll watch it in silent at home, and they still want to read what you say. And always update your old pages. I know it all sounds quite simple, but these have massive impacts. If you're wanting to start to trickle up the Google rankings, these are just some simple things you can do. There's obviously the more paid for stuff you can do after that. So thank you very much for that. It was delightful to speak to myself, and for 10 minutes. I do it a lot. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, David. Does anybody have any questions? We've got time for one quick question. Anything after that, either put in the chat, or like I say, I recommend have a one-to-one with him. Anyone got a question at all? I've got a question for you, David.
Okay.
When you talk about zombie pages, how often do you come across content which is kind of out of date and, you know, sort of like pages that you just shouldn't even be there anymore?
It's not as regular as it used to be. I think the software and the systems that you build on now sort of allow you just to sort of allow you to delete things quite quickly, or we build from scratch, so that we don't really encounter the zombie pages. It's normally if we're doing reviews, or if somebody's had a website for a while and they don't really want to build a new site, but we'll handhold them through the demolition of their existing one, as it were. So we probably encounter them then. But I think it's more about the relevance of the information that's on there. If the information that's on there is relevant, but you aren't showcasing it because you don't specialize in it anymore, I suppose that's not so bad. But if you have information on there that has no prevalence to your business and actually just uses some of the keywords that are in and around your company, I'd probably get rid of them, because they're not actively helping the user experience. So Google really is just a user experience checker. It sits there with a checklist and it goes, right, how nicely is this site built? What's the ratio of text to content, text to image? How easy is it for a client to click through? They know the sitemaps because of the search console. So it's like, how many people are actually using the ebb and flow of the sitemap? How many people are actually going into the pages that are relevant? If someone stops at a certain point, and all of the people stop at that point, Google knows that site isn't developed, isn't giving them what they need to get to the next steps. So it won't rank you as high as someone who has a really nice client journey that gives them that flow of call to action. It's just those sorts of things. It's just making sure your site is extremely relevant and easy to navigate.